The first one was so much fun, I'm going to do it again. The first video I did, translating quantum human design, the transit forecast from my mentor, Dr. Karen Parker, was a little bit more after the fact. But this one is going to be real time because today is March 2nd, 2026, and I am now going to read the post for the first week of March, dated March 2nd. So let's see what happens. Nothing compares to the intensity of February, yet March carries its own initiations and refinements as we continue the story that began last month. The energy this week builds directly on what was set in motion during the solar eclipse on February 17th in Gate 30. Oh, I know that gate. It's called Clinging Fire. Let me tell you what. It's the part of me that's spicy, and I've had to learn how to manage my spice. Okay. It invites us to a deeper, more mature relationship with inspiration, trust, and recalibration. March 3rd, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, Gate 64. This gate is one of the 3 head gates that says, how? But how? How am I going to do this? I don't know. How? This is the question that goes on in my mind almost all the time, and I have had to learn how to... My job is not to do the how. My job is to allow myself to be in the confusion and move to the clarity in its due time. Like, not forcing it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Legendary. Okay, so where was I? Highlighting Gate 64. A lunar eclipse intensifies the full moon cycle, illuminating what needs to be healed, released, brought into awareness, and aligned with greater integrity. This eclipse cannot be understood without remembering the solar eclipse in Gate 30, which asks us to examine our passions, our desires, and the ways we cultivate devotion strong enough to bring potential into form. That sounds like, for the first 30 years that I spent in the beauty industry, I was in the outer beauty industry. What people saw, how you look, how you present yourself, how your nails look. And, funny side note, this might not be a side note depending on where it goes from here, but when I was a nail tech, the minute I said that I was a nail tech, I usually got one of 2 reactions, maybe 3. First reaction, I just had my nails done. Aren't they amazing? Or, oh, I need to have my nails done. They're so grown out. Do you know how I broke this one? Second response, nothing. Third response, don't look at my nails. You know what's funny? Is that they thought they could hide them from me because I saw them from a mile away because I am passionate about beauty, but not beauty in the sense in which we have looked at it as a collective, because I'm always looking for the ugly that people want to hide, because it's the ugly that you want to hide that I can best bring out with connecting you to your truth. Yeah, I said it. And now in coaching, what's also funny, when I am either doing a reading for someone in human design or astrology, or like playing with their gene keys, their archetypes, like all the things, when I'm talking to people either about being into psychology, being into coaching, I usually get the same type of responses, but they show up a little differently. Response number 1 is, tell me all the things, like, what is my human design? What does that mean? I'm a Manny Jen. Oh my gosh, what does that mean? I'm a projector. I'm a reflector. Oh, that resonates. Really? Like, they're into it. Second response is, I don't know what that is. Don't really care. Don't feel a interest. Third response, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want you to see me. No, I'm not going to let you see my chart. Maybe I will. What do you see there? Thinking that by revealing themselves to me in any way, other than putting up the wall, is the only way they can like protect themselves. But honey, I saw you beforehand. Energy is my first language. And so I saw you beforehand. And I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. You're judging yourself, thinking that I'm judging you. Anyway, all right, let's read on, shall we? Gate 30 invited you to feel deeply and to commit to the work required to manifest what truly matters to you. 100%. Gate 64 now completes that arc by reminding you that you are not manifesting alone. You are participating in a co-creative relationship with the cosmos, also within yourself. You are a steward of ideas, but not every idea that passes through your awareness is yours to fulfill. Part of deconditioning is learning discernment and recognizing which inspirations are aligned with your deeper purpose and which are simply part of the collective field. Like, I want everybody to love each other, to be kind and compassionate to each other, to be kind, compassionate, and loving to their inner selves, to explore their creativity. And there are ways I get to help people with that. And then there are some people that are like, no, thank you. And that's totally fine. All right. In its shadow expression, gate 64 can create confusion. That's legit. You may see the vision clearly, yet feel frustrated when you do not have the complete instruction manual. However, in its highest expression, gate 64 reminds you that your role is not to force the how before you allow yourself to say yes to the vision. Oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about this in a second. Your role is to hold the energy of the idea, to feel inspired by it, to cultivate faith around it, and to trust if the idea is truly yours to fulfill, the instructions will unfold step by step in right timing. All right, I'm going to highlight where I'm at right now. Let's talk about this. I will have these moments of huge inspiration. It's like you're walking through the aisles of Target or you're scrolling on Amazon and you see a beautiful puzzle. Like these ideas just like drop into my awareness, full, complete, big picture, technicolor, just like, wow. And then like holding that vision, that picture, when I don't actually have the pieces to start putting it together. Or here's the other thing that sometimes happens is I get the big picture and then what happens is life gives me all the pieces. It just dumps the box out in front of me and says, here you go. Here's the vision. And I have to be patient enough to find the edges, get the frame put together, and then slowly start looking at what pieces might fit, what pieces correlate, what pieces are kind of similar. And that takes patience. That takes patience when you're looking at the whole puzzle. I saw it complete, but now it's in pieces in front of me. Girl's gonna need a hot second to let the pieces come together. And the more I try and rush that process, the more I try and force the pieces to fit in, you end up with a jacked up puzzle. And then you have to undo everything and then start again. So it slows me down. One of the things I'm learning is not to do the how, just to hold the vision. Trust that the puzzle's pieces will come together in their right timing. That's not my timing. That's divine timing. That's aligned timing. That's me being like, what does this complete puzzle feel like? How will I feel when it's all put together? How might it inspire someone once this puzzle is done and they're gazing upon it? That's the thing. Okay, back to the forecast. This eclipse invites you to release the belief that you must control every detail before you permit yourself to dream, and it asks you to deepen your relationship with Source, God if you're that way, Allah, the one, divine source energy, or just plain old scientific energy, vibration. Let's see. Deepen your relationship with Source so that you can trust your unique and irreplaceable role in the unfolding of your life. Yes, you are unique, just like everybody else, and you are unique. There's only one you doing all the crazy things that you do. Just self-identifying here. Okay. March 6th through 9th. Sun conjunct Mercury. What the hell does that even mean? Gate 63, the gate of curiosity. So, March 6th through March 9th, the Sun aligns with Mercury in gate 63, which complements the eclipse energy beautifully. The gate 63 carries the energy of inquiry and investigation, and it stimulates the mind to question, analyze, and seek understanding. When expressed unconsciously, this energy can turn into self-doubt and overthinking, especially with the Earth grounding in gate 64, which already heightens the imaginative field. However, this mental energy has a purpose. So let's just talk about this for a minute before I read on. Because one of my greatest struggles has been to allow myself to learn how to best use this thing. So when I was doing a lot of trauma training, one of the things that I came to understand about how our brain works, our brains need certainty. They need to know that we're right. They need some sort of assurance because that's survival. So what happens is when you're trying to be something greater, when you're asking for more, when you're wanting to do something differently, the mind wants to feed you a narrative rather than be curious. The mind wants to say, well, you did that 6 times before. How do you expect it's going to turn out any different? Failure. So you don't even try. But that is your brain actually trying to keep you safe. But it's also not using it to the best of its ability. So if you start replacing statements, conclusions with questions, curiosity, wonder. There's a great, I just re-saw it the other day, Ted Laszlo asking questions. He was in a dart championship and he was talking about how people aren't curious. They don't ask questions. That is your best way of dealing with doubt before it gets created. Like being in a place of curiosity and wonder. When you find yourself about to make a statement, I've did this 6 times before. Isn't that the definition of insanity? I'm going to do it again? No, I'm just not going to choose this. But if you ask the question, I wonder what other ways I might do this. Even the most subtle of change, like as someone who learned how to sail, a 1% shift in direction in the beginning looks like nothing, but your destination might be completely different with just 1 degree shift. So asking yourself the question, being curious, that's where you can start to use doubt, aka inquiry, to say, what if this isn't exactly the same as it was before? What's different about this? I wonder what's possible. What do I need to think in order for this to be a different experience? And then don't try to figure out what the answer is. Let the universe answer your question. Let your lived experience answer your question. Okay. You still in it? Come on. Your thoughts stimulate your imagination, and your imagination generates emotional frequencies that influence the coherence of your heart. By the way, the heart is a vortex. When you hear Abraham Hicks talk about get in the vortex, they're talking about your heart. Your heart is a vortex. It's not a pump. It's a vortice. Be in your heart. Ask questions. Be in your heart. Okay. You are in a feedback loop with life itself. Your curiosity is designed to expand you, not dismantle your confidence. When you allow yourself to question without collapsing into doubt, your mind becomes a bridge that strengthens faith rather than undermining it. At the same time, Venus is conjunct Saturn and Neptune in gate 25 in the G center. That's your heart, that's your calibration center. That's like, where are we going? I don't know. Let me put it into the GPS. Let's go. Gate 25 reminds you that you're here to serve something greater than yourself and that your authentic expression is your purpose. When you surrender to that greater, I want to try and say this word, orchestrarian, you are resourced, supported, and guided in ways that often exceed your personal planning. This alignment invites you to imagine that you're not living in a competitive matrix, but in a gifted ecosystem where you're both the gift and the recipient of support and the fulfillment of that gift. Like, think about what the heart is. It's a give and receive in relationship with your lungs. Oxygen in, out, right? It's a give and receive. Anyway, okay. March 7th, Jupiter moves from gate 53 to gate 39. And I don't know what I'm about to read here, but here's what I'm noticing. In my body, all of a sudden, my stomach just did a little poof. And so I'm going to let myself feel it for a second. Instead of avoiding feeling emotions, allowing myself to be present with it. Like right after I did the last video, my phone rang. And it startled me because I had a moment where I thought, is this Miriam calling? Is this the person I'm supposed to be picking up in an hour, almost 2 hours? Did I get it wrong? Yeah. This is the wrong muscle that shows up in my body every once in a while. You're doing it wrong. You made a mistake. That's not okay. So I'm feeling this feeling in my body right now. And now we're going to read. You ready? One more breath. Like, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. My color's probably changed for a minute. Not going to rush it. It's coming down. Makes me burp. Sometimes it makes me need to poo. Energy's moving. All right. I think we're ready to go. Let's go. March 7th, Jupiter moves from gate 53 to gate 39. On March 7th, Jupiter shifts to the gate of beginnings. Into gate 39, the gate of recalibration. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and we have been operating within an expanded field of new beginnings. There has been support for initiating, starting, and saying yes to new cycles. Hence me doing this video right now, because I just felt this inspiration and I let myself do it. Even though a little outside my comfort zone. I still have like one toe in my comfort zone, but the rest of me is outside of it right now. Okay. We can do hard things. We can do unfamiliar things. We can do things outside of our comfort zone. All right. As Jupiter enters gate 39, the energy shifts towards recalibration. Gate 39 gently but persistently provokes awareness around where you still hold scarcity consciousness and fear of lack. It exposes the subtle narratives that shape your decisions, including beliefs about not having enough time, money, support, or capability. This energy is not punitive, it's refining. It invites you to examine where you're still creating from fear and to consciously choose faith instead. And I'm not going to lie, like, that is a challenge. Listening to my intuition sometimes when I'm observing with my eyeballs, with these eyeballs, my intuition are like my big eyeballs. But when I'm listening to my intuition, give me the big eyeball look. But with these eyeballs, I'm seeing not what my big eyeballs see. It's hard. It's hard to have faith. It's hard to trust. And one of the skills that I have developed, I call it hindsight is 2020. Most of you have heard this thing, but what I have developed is a regular practice of looking backwards on my life and finding out where I was like, I didn't know how the hell that was going to work. I had no proof that the choice I was about to make out onto the ledge was even possible. Like when I left my full-time job mid beauty school so that I could, like, I had a credit card for $5,000 that had like a $5,000 limit on it. And it was empty at the time. And I was like, this will last me about 3-4 months. It will cover my expenses. I'm going all in on my nail business to build that up so that when I go back to school to finish the rest of my stuff, I'll be able to build clients from where I already started. That didn't go the way I expected, but I did grow my business. Like all the plans that I had kind of changed, but it did work. Okay. Moving on. As Jupiter enters gate, I think I already read that. Recalibration does not mean you started incorrectly. It means you're evolving into a more coherent expression of trust. This week carries significant mental stimulation, but that stimulation is designed to refine your imagination, strengthen your faith, and recalibrate your relationship with provision and purpose. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about. And now moving it into my now life, like my practice of hindsight is 2020, going time traveling back and finding evidence of where things that I had no idea would work did. And also noticing, like, I thought it was going to go this way. I had a plan. It was so cute. Like, sometimes my plans work out, but sometimes not even fucking close. But they still get me to the destination that I was longing for. For example, 3 years ago, actually 7 years ago, I had the vision drop in for Who University, for a network, for a universe, a calling together of people that are wanting to be more. In some cases, wanting to be less, wanting to be more in alignment with who they really are. There needs to be a school for that. And there is no set curriculum. Like, it's unique for each person. So I had that vision drop in and I was like, all the puzzle pieces were just laying there in a lump. Then 3 years ago, I thought I had it dialed in. We were so close. We were launching Who University March 3rd, 2023. And then almost in an instant, everything went to shit. That Virgo moon was like, nice sandcastle. And I had to start over. Like, it was a huge recalibration for me. And my relationship with service, my relationship with being an entrepreneur, my relationship with like what really matters to me in life and what is my priority. It has been a 3-year reevaluation of how I serve, how I do that without losing myself. Well, we could talk. So, contemplations for the week. Where in your life are you insisting on complete clarity before allowing yourself to feel desire or inspiration? And what would shift if you permitted the vision to exist even without a detailed plan? When your curiosity turns into self-doubt, what specific narrative begins to surface, and how can you discern whether that narrative belongs to past conditioning rather than a present truth? Which ideas currently feel steady and expansive in your body and which feel urgent or pressured? And how might this awareness help you discern which inspirations are truly yours to steward? In what areas of your life are you still making decisions from subtle scarcity? And what choice would you make this week if you genuinely trusted that you live within a gifted ecosystem rather than a competitive one? What is one small concrete step you can take that aligns with your vision, and how can you practice trusting that in the larger path will reveal itself through consistent, faithful action? This week is not asking you to solve your entire life or to eliminate uncertainty. It's inviting you to recalibrate your relationship with trust, imagination, and provision so that you can participate consciously in the unfolding of what is already seeking expression through you. So, on that note, let's evolve together this week. Please know that I'm doing this just because it felt fun for me. This isn't endorsed by, nor was it asked by Karen for me to share these things. I just find inspiration in reading a lot of her material, and it also helps me with my new identity of I'm much. I'm not too much, and I'm not enough. Like, it's helping me recalibrate this identity that there used to be pain in Tanya. You are too much, too intense, sharing all the things. And so I smalled myself. I denied my spicy side, which, by the way, when I was working for Creative Nail Design, CND, one of my students' favorite things, one of the things that I heard as feedback most often was when I would come in and say, I'm here to teach you about CND's products and to talk to you about using the system. But I also come to you as a 30-year nail veteran. And so when you see me cover up my name tag, this is going to be me sharing Spicy Tanya with you, real world Tanya with you, the experience that I have had. Let that inform you for what's right with you, for you. Make the decision for yourself where your priorities are, how you want to work and operate. The company is sharing this. This is what feels aligned with me, but here's what I also want to tell you, because I've got experience and it might be helpful. Like, there is no perfect, wrong, or right way of doing things. So let Spicy Tanya tell you, I have currently, I forget how old I am. I'm 50 something. I currently have 50 something years of real world experience as a psychic, as a coach, as a beauty expert, as an ugly expert, all the things. So this was fun for me, even though in the middle of the video, I felt like I wanted to puke. So here's to doing things outside of our comfort zone and to also allowing ourselves to recalibrate and reground into what's important to us. And what's important to me is sharing this messy life. Like, life isn't neat, organized, and perfected. And I used to want to only show up when I was polished. And I missed out on stuff. And potentially the people that were watching me missed out on stuff too, because I was afraid to share the ugly. I was afraid to share the messy or the unpolished, but here I am. So, love you. Bye.